knockouts. If that was the case, his face would look like mush. When he's moving his head, he's jabbing.
He's slick. A lot of people too,
Since he knocked people out so much, people forget that he's a good boxer.
Yeah.
Terence Crawford is my favorite fighter of this era. He's my favorite fighter of this era. So, as friends, as business, in boxing, Terence Crawford wins.
But then again, I think about Crawford's abilities and his IQ and his footwork, which Canelo cannot handle. And we know that for a fact. It happened with Bivol, it happened with Mayweather, who schooled him left and right.
Mike Tyson told Canelo he was dangerous after seeing Terence Crawford's horrible workouts. He said that every fighter has their own style, but when it matters most, some people become as cruel as animals. Tyson made it clear that when aggression and discipline are united, a boxer may become almost impossible to stop. He says that Crawford is ready for war because of how he acts and how intense he is. So, Canelo might be too weak to handle being so hungry.
That long ago. That's what's so crazy.
Listen, most of these guys, Alexander Green, Hannibal, Genghis Khan, we have their DNA. That's why some people are savages to some, because we have these guys' DNA. These guys conquered the world, and look who what level we are. We have their seeds. We have them. Some people, they have those psychopaths. Some people love killing people. Some people love eating people. Some people don't, just like animals, some animals get domesticated quicker than others. And the same in human beings. Some of them get domesticated quicker than others. And some of them just never get domesticated. They're just what they are.
So you genetically passed down their makeup.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think the way we're so attached to our phones is going to lead to us being attached to some electronic thing that we wind up accepting in our body.
No, listen,
and it's going to change what people are.
Like some iRobot shit, honestly?
Yeah, legitimately. Like some kind of cyborg
if all of us
shit.
right now, if our phones stop now, we would start fighting for some reason. Before we figured this shit out, if our phones start now, we would for some reason find reasons to fight.
We're so distracted by phones. But I think the thing about phones is you accept the fact that everybody has one. You accept the fact you always have it on you. So it might as well be a part of your body. It's just not connected. And one day it will be. One day they're going to figure out how to put a thing on your head that makes your brain work way better. And a few people are going to do it, and they're going to have a big advantage. And then we're all going to do it.
But until then,
your
phone will be like your will. When you die, take my phone, son.
As Terence Crawford gets ready for the toughest test of his career, he has been training with Carlos Adams, a tough middleweight known for his relentless attack and raw power. This shows a lot about Crawford's mind before his fight with Canelo Alvarez. When facing an opponent as naturally big as Canelo, Crawford knows that getting used to strong punches is not a choice but a necessity. By taking Adams' hard hits and practicing with him, he's getting his body and mind ready for the kind of storm he expects on fight night. This kind of planning shows that Crawford is both persistent and smart about strategy.
So here's a video that many people have sent me to determine in their mind that Terence Bud Crawford would lose to Canelo Alvarez, or is going to lose September 13th to Canelo Alvarez, as he is sparring here middleweight WBC world champion Carlos Adames, who is 24 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw, 18 wins by way of knockout. And people are saying that Carlos Adames, who's 5'11" with a 73-inch arm reach, is having his way with Terence Bud Crawford. And this is an indication that the 168-pound Canelo Alvarez, who's 5'7" with a 70-inch arm reach, is going to have the same type of success and knock Terence Crawford out. But what people are not paying attention to is Terence Crawford is standing right in front of Carlos Adames and taking the big punches from Carlos Adames as he's standing in the pocket and counterpunching him and taking his blows at a smaller weight class while competing at 147. Now he bulked up. What y'all think?
Oscar De La Hoya, a former opponent who is now promoter, thinks that Canelo's aggression could be his end. Canelo will definitely put on the pressure, but De La Hoya says Crawford has the artistic skill and flexibility to open him up. He says that Dimitri Bivol beat Canelo by controlling the distance and speed, while Mayweather annoyed him with his defense skills and ring smarts. It's clear what it means. Crawford can analyze Canelo's style, just like the boxers who came before him. Because he is a southpaw switch hitter, counters quickly, and has a high fighting IQ, there are many ways to win. Canelo may hit with strength and volume, but Crawford's skill and smarts could help him get past that.
Do you feel that Terrence has a shot in beating Canelo Alvarez?
That's the million-dollar question. When I watched Terrence Crawford get rattled and rocked by Yorkis Gamboa, who's a natural 30-pounder, that to me is going to be a huge problem when he gets hit by Canelo. So he fights at 175. He's fighting these big monsters. Yeah. He's not getting rattled at all. No. Berlanga's a big kid. Yeah. So it makes me think, I mean, how is Crawford going to keep him away for 12 rounds? Canelo's going to come at him hard. Right. But then again, I think about Crawford's abilities and his IQ and his footwork, which Canelo cannot handle. And we know that for a fact. It happened with Bivol, it happened with Mayweather, who schooled him left and right with no problem. And Canelo was way stronger than Mayweather. So there's
Don't you think Canelo's a better fighter than he was then, today?
A better fight, yeah, a little better, yeah. His footwork is still the same. He's flat-footed, he's very heavy on his feet.
Obviously, Canelo has the power to hurt anyone.
In this game, power means a lot. If you can't keep your guy off you, or you don't know how because it's too much pressure, and the one thing about Crawford is that he knows how to handle the pressure. He's a savvy boxer, you know? And he doesn't run, and he has that heart. He's a dog, he has that heart. You wanna fight me, I'm gonna fight you.
Putting Crawford and Alexander Usyk next to each other is not wrong. Usyk, a naturally smaller heavyweight boxer, beat giants like Anthony Joshua and even Tyson Fury by sticking to his own style, speed, technique, and unwavering confidence. Experts say that Crawford should approach Canelo in the same way, by focusing on what he does well instead of trying to beat him. The sports of today can't compare to Crawford's speed, accuracy, and ability to run the ring. Staying true to his own rhythm is what Usyk did to counter Canelo's physical benefits. The lesson is that the best way to get better is to work on your own skills, not to copy your opponents. For Crawford, this means going with his gut, staying focused, and using his wide range of skills to balance out size and strength. It is tough to train, but it is also smart, because who he is might be his best weapon in this fight.
To reevaluate him bulking up and say, you know what? Nah, Terrence Bud Crawford, if you want a chance, not just to survive, but a chance to beat Canelo Alvarez, you have to be you. Just like Alexander Usyk was himself to face muscle machines like Anthony Joshua, big, tall enigma in the heavyweight division like Tyson Fury. Now let me quickly give you an example of what I'm talking about. See, when Alexander Usyk fought Anthony Joshua, right? He weighed in at 221. Joshua was 244, giving up 20 pounds, over 20 pounds, almost 25 pounds, right? Alexander Usyk didn't chase Anthony Joshua in terms of trying to bulk up. Oh man, I'm gonna fight this heavyweight. His power is gonna be more than me. His weight, he could overwhelm me with his weight, his height, you know, his power. No, I gotta be the most comfortable fighter I could be. I gotta be comfortable under my own skin. I'm not gonna beat him off power. I gotta beat him off speed. I gotta beat him off movement. I gotta beat him off adjustments. I gotta beat him off IQ. Right? So Alexander Usyk didn't have to bulk up to be successful. Now look at this one. Look at when he fought Tyson Fury. He kept the same energy, he kept the same mindset, and it still got him to become an undisputed heavyweight champion.
Joel Diaz, Crawford's coach, says that Crawford's skills mean he will give Canelo problems right away, but he also talks about the fight's historic effects on the economy. Crawford is a boxer who has won a lot of weight classes, but has often missed big money chances. This fight changes his reputation, both in the ring and at the bank. It shows how big the game was by how much this payout is. Crawford has never done a show for a record-breaking amount of money in front of millions of people before. It sounds like Diaz thinks that the pressure will be huge, but the return will also be huge. In addition to the strategic chess match against Canelo, Crawford is fighting for wealth and fame that will last for generations. He will reach a level of fame and money in his career that very few fighters ever reach. Few wins,
never made those millions of dollars that he deserved to make, and became friends with Turkey Al-Sheikh, which Turkey Al-Sheikh announced it publicly. Terence Crawford is my favorite fighter of this era. You know, he's my favorite fighter of this era. So, as friends, as business, in boxing, Terence Crawford wins. But he wins money. Because now, hey, you know what? As my friend that you are, I make you an offer. Would you fight Canelo? I'll give you 40 million. I don't know if it's 40, I don't know if it's 50, 60, but he's not gonna make no less than $10 million. So right there, Crawford's winning, regardless. As a fighter, like, dude, you give me 20 million, I'll fight anybody. I'll fight Anthony Joshua right now. So Terence Crawford has to sell the fight. He has to say, I'll beat Canelo, left and right, whatever, right? But we've seen it we've seen it many, many times. When fighters move up 2 divisions to be the champion, they fail. I mean, I saw it with Mikey Garcia when he fought Earl Spence. I saw it when Demetrius Andrade, a 147-pounder, was avoided for years. He moved to 54, he was avoided. He moved to 160, he fought maybe once or twice. Nobody wanted to fight him, so he moves to 68 and fights Benavidez. What happens? He looked good for the first 3 rounds because he's good. But once that heavy monster is coming at you, he'll destroy you.
Shocker Stevenson, one of the best young boxing winners, is optimistic about Crawford's chances. He doesn't care about concerns about weight and size because Crawford's body has already adjusted to the bigger size and the 2 men are almost the same height. Stevenson thinks that the most important thing in this fight is skills, not size. Crawford is able to lift bigger weights without slowing down because he is very fit and has a thin body. Stevenson says that the weight difference myth is out of date because Crawford is naturally strong and flexible. In a bigger picture sense, he believes that Crawford's knowledge and mental toughness are greater than Canelo's claimed physical advantages. Stevenson's confidence makes fans even more interested because it suggests that the next generation of boxers see Crawford as a man who can beat the sport's biggest star.
I think Bud gonna cook Canelo. I think he's gonna cook him. I think, Canelo a hell of a fighter, but I think Bud just got all the tools to beat him.
You don't think the weight difference is gonna be too big of an advantage?
I think y'all make that something, in certain fights,
boxing makes it something, not us.
like if this was like a Benavidez, he's actually a lot bigger than Bud, so that would like apply. But I feel like with Canelo, he's like physically kind of big, but like height-wise, he's kind of small. So I don't think so, man.
Corey, how you got a decision to stoppage? Because Bradman and Boozy think that Bud actually might stop him.
Me and Boozy talked about that. That's crazy. Me and him got on the phone, talked about it, but I think that's possible. Like, I'm not saying that it's going to happen, but I think it's a possibility if Canelo gets to acting out of line and not understanding that Bud could crack too. So,
even though most of the comments are good, there are some doubters. There's no doubt that Crawford is the best, but some experts say that many of his opponents didn't have Canelo's top status and general fame. But what about Errol Spence Jr.? He wasn't beaten until Crawford knocked him out. On Crawford's list of accomplishments, not many names are as well known around the world. This line of attack makes it sound like Crawford has never been tested against a fighter as good as Canelo. Some people say that beating Spence is not the same as beating an experienced boxer like Canelo. Crawford is going to places they have never been before. They agree that he is skilled, but they warn that Canelo's experience on the biggest stages could make things harder for Crawford, who has never been in a fight like this before.
This to how I feel about Bud. Though I think Bud is an elite fighter. He got mad skills. I ain't impressed with nobody he's beat or fought. I'm not. Earl Spence is the only credible fighter that I put on his resume that I feel like, now that motherfucker right there, okay, you beat him, you're legit. But let's pump the brakes. Let's pump the brakes. I will say this to the day I fucking die, nigga. And I will say it screaming from the rooftops. And I will be 90 years old and still saying this shit. I'm not giving him no motherfucking respect or props fighting a weight-drained Earl Spence, who took the fight. Not only did he have a broken orbital bone, he had eye surgery previously, had 2 fucking car crashes where he almost died. Though this is not Bud's fault. This ain't Bud's fault. It ain't Bud's fault that he had them car crashes and he was drinking or doing whatever the fuck he was doing. It ain't Bud's fault he got hurt in training and fucked his eye up and had to pull out of the Manny Pacquiao fight. That ain't Bud's fault. It ain't Bud's fault if it ain't Bud's fault that they put Earl Spence in the ring weight drained like that. That's Earl's fault. Earl waited for this motherfucker. He been crying. I got videos on my channel. Have you not seen it? I got tons of videos on my channel.
Michael Bay, a past lightweight champion, thinks this fight is one of a kind and only happens once a year. He thinks it has the right amount of mystery and uncertainty. His answer is 50-50ths, which is a real toss-up, and what makes it special, they makes it clear what the stakes are. Any win for Crawford, no matter how big or small, makes him even more of a great guy. On the other hand, things are harder for Canelo. If Canelo wins by a small margin, the victory will be overwhelmed by worries about his weaknesses and decline. In order to keep his title, he needs to win easily and show that he is still king of the ring. But Crawford's reputation is better just because he overcame the problems. He could lose badly and hurt his image, but even a split decision would be a huge win for him. Because of these 2 stories, the game is interesting. Both of the guys are trying to win, but the results are not the same.
Terrence trying to get the win. If he get the win, this could put him in that all-time status. You know what I mean? And you got Canelo like, damn, I can't lose to this little dude. So it's like, you know, it's pretty much they both, you know, Terrence is you know, he trying to get up on that Mount Rushmore, and you got Canelo that's damn near like, man, I can't let this little dude beat me. You know, that could pull his legacy down a little bit. So you got both fighters, they got a different goal, but man, they both real good and both elite. They both at their absolute prime, probably at the best, at the top of their game. I just think it's just a matchup wise, skill wise, all around. Yeah, that's the best matchup right now.
Canelo beats Crawford. What does that do for Canelo? Crawford beats Canelo. What does that do for Crawford?
I think it's how Canelo got to beat Crawford. I don't think he got to if he could stop Crawford. It'll probably look good, but him just winning, I mean, he'd get his props, you know, from dudes like me and you probably, but I mean, it depends how he wins. To me, Terrence just got to win.
The most recent controversy is about claims that Crawford's training and preparation may give him an edge so big that it almost counts as cheating. The phrase is, of course, figurative and not literal. It means that Crawford's discipline, training, and strategic planning make the fight almost unfair. These stories show that more and more people think Crawford is doing everything right while Canelo is under more and more pressure. Crawford seems to be ahead before the first bell rings. This could be because he is using more advanced training methods, practice with more experienced opponents, or the psychological warfare of self-belief. Canelo is taking a risk with this story. If he loses, it will be seen as unavoidable. But even if he wins, it will only temporarily calm people down. In any case, the idea that Crawford is cheating on his wife without breaking the law adds to the reports that he is the most dangerous and hungry version of himself yet.
Successful. September 13th, Las Vegas, Nevada, Allegiant Stadium, when he takes on another first ballot Hall of Famer, 4-division world champion, 2-time undisputed world champion, and reigning undisputed super middleweight world champion, Mexican superstar boxer Saul Canelo Alvarez, who is 63 wins, 2 losses, 2 draws, 39 wins by way of knockout. Terrence Crawford had one fight at 154. That was against Israel Majimov, the WBA junior middleweight world champion, right? And since then, Terrence Crawford has moved up now to 168 to challenge Canelo Alvarez, okay? And so prior to that, he spent 5 years at what? Welterweight. So the concern that people have for Terrence Crawford, rightfully so, is that Terrence Crawford will be 38 years of age 2 weeks after the fight. So he's 37, okay? Terrence Crawford has one fight at 154. Prior to that, Terrence Crawford has been competing, okay, since 2018 for the last 7 years at 147. Since June of 2018, he's been fighting at 147. His only fight outside of that division in the last 5 to 6 years was his fight against Israel Madrimov at 154, which he won, unanimous decision. I thought he handily won, but people thought that he struggled. Israel Madrimov is now 10 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw, 7 wins by way of knockout because he lost his last fight to Mexican superstar, WBC junior middleweight interim champion, Virgil Ortiz Jr.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned until next time.
The video for today is now over. Wait for the next.